Dad? Where is he?
Oh, he's off shooting moles.
Hello and welcome back to the Who Look, where today I'm going to be wondering if the Wilf ending in the Giggle was in character or not. Now, ever since the episode aired, I found it a little strange that Wilf was shooting at moles. Whilst it does seem to be a little out of character for him to be shooting at moles, it's not like he was anti-gun considering he kept his weapon from World War II, and also in the two-parter The End of Time, he manned the guns on the ship, although in that case he was just shooting missiles rather than living creatures. It's also worth considering that Wilf was trying to convince the Doctor to use the gun against the Master. He used the idea of if the Master was shot, everyone would return back to their normal selves. So we know that he was part of the war, although he never actually killed anyone, with the woman specifically saying, "The war was won and passed you by," which could easily mean that if Wilf was in the war earlier on, he could have killed people, but because he joined later on, he never actually needed to. Now, fast forward to 2023 and we see that he's shooting moles. I've been seeing on Twitter that apparently this is something that Bernard Cribbins himself supposedly likes to do in his free time. Although, trying to research this, I haven't come across any official source that would suggest that this is what he would do in his spare time. But it also wouldn't surprise me at the same time, as his time in the military was a reason that Wilf never killed anyone during the war. Personally, I could see Wilf being the kind of person to shoot towards the moles to try scare them off, but I think it's very out of character for him to be purposefully trying to kill them. So, now let's look at the Target book release and the BBC Writers page, both of which indicate that Wilf was actually in the final scene, something that in the final version only got a passing mention due to his death. But the original idea for Wilf to actually be in the scene feels even more out of character than what we saw happen. Wilf would be actively chasing the moles down with a shotgun through the garden in his wheelchair, where he says, "I'll get him, don't you worry Doctor, you stay there, I'll get the lil," which seems to show that Wilf is actually trying to get the moles. His attitude to it isn't what feels out of character, because he's clearly having fun in the gunner seat in the second part of The End of Time, but it's the fact that he's so desperate and seemingly wanting to shoot at living creatures, which is what throws me off. I mean, at the end of the day, I can't really complain about it being out of character too much, as it's still Wilf and it's still written by Russell, who created the character in the first place, but this is just my view on the situation. However, I'm glad they gave Wilf a happy ending to his story, no matter what he was doing. Considering after his passing, Russell wrote an alternative ending where they mention his passing in the garden scene instead. But in the end, it came down to Phil Collinson, who called Russell out on the scene and told him of course he has to be alive, he's just off camera, which Russell ended up agreeing and ended up scrapping the revised scene. So, what do you think about Wilf's ending? Do you feel like it was in or out of character for him? Also, don't forget to come check out the Discord where you can communicate with other people from the fanbase, which includes other content creators. Link is down below in the description. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.